Hey, what's up people, welcome back to another tutorial, and in this video again we are going to talk about VelocityX, and this is version 1.0 and I'm really excited to announce this. I just released this version and it has a lot of things, and I'm really proud that we have reached to a position where a lot of people are using VelocityX and a lot of new things has been coming, and I'm using it almost in every application and I receive a lot of messages. So I think this video is really helpful for everyone who is doing Flutter, and trust me, there are many things which are missing from Flutter which has been added to VelocityX. That's why it has been going through this 0.1, 2, 3, 4, and now it has reached to 1.0, which means it's now a complete package itself. And yes, why you should use VelocityX? Because it helps you in writing UIs even faster, 40% more faster, and it supports responsive UIs. It's backward compatible as well. Like you can use it with your existing widgets as well, and it works with web, Android, iOS, whatever you want to use. It's free and open source, so you don't have to even think about that. And there has been some changes on the GitHub repo as well. And let's look at the release notes. So this is 1.00, and you can see a lot of things has been added, and yeah, many of the things has been mentioned here, and we will also see a quick demo that how these things work. So let's switch it to that, and trust me, this video is not going to waste your time. You'll definitely love it, and you will definitely use it as well in almost every application from now. So let's go back to code and let's see how things work with this new version. So I have this demo setup over here, and let me delete this. I can create it again, and here you go. So first of all, you have to do is you have to go to your pubspec.yaml, and you have to increase your version of VelocityX from 0.5.0 to 1.0.0. if you are not using it, then add it manually, and then in the demo.dart I'll show you what it can do. So the first thing which we'll talk about is this VxTimeline widget. Okay, so that's what we can talk about. So VxTimeline widget and VxSkeleton, Marquee, Badge, and everything is there. So let's do it quickly. So timeline is something which, if you are showing a transaction, a history or something, it can be really handy. And the purpose of VelocityX is to ease your life using these predefined widgets which does not come up with Flutter. And this version is specially targeted for some more widgets as well as animations. So let's start with the timeline view. So I'll create a timeline view quickly, and you can see how easy we can do that. So timeline view, and here I can make a stateless widget, let's say, and I can call it timeline view just to make our code clean, and this repo will be live, so you can check it out. So in the timeline view, if you see what you have to do, you can use VxTimeline. Basically that's a new widget which takes a lot of parameters, but the required one is timeline list, and we can generate a list. We can say something like list.generate. Let's generate 5 items, and in the index, this timeline list takes VxTimeline model. Okay, so it has a predefined model which you have to use. So I can say VxTimeline model, yes, and this model has ID, heading, what heading you want to use. So I'm assuming you will have some other list, and then you will map it. So ID, let's make it index. For heading, let's use today's date, let's say November 04 2020, and for description we can add welcome to VX, something like that, and yes, you are done. So you have a timeline view. And if you have missed the animation, that let me do a hot restart, just focus here and you will see an animation. We can also increase the duration, let's say 3 seconds, and now if I hot restart, then you can see the animation now. And you can customize it, like if you want to show trailing, then you can do it. Let's say show trailing true, then you get an action button over here. And there is a callback as well called on item tap, so you can use that as well. Line color, heading color, custom trailing widget if you want to provide, you can do everything with this. So this is VxTimeline. I hope this can be useful for many of the use cases like history and cards and transactions and a lot of things. So that's one of the widgets with animation. And another widget which I can talk about here is skeleton. So we already have something called a shimmer. So if I'll show you here, so you can see, let's say if I say hi vx dot text, dot xl3 dot, let's say, red 500, or red, let's make it gray 500 dot make. So this is normal text, which you can see, and I can add a shimmer effect dot shimmer if I use. But shimmer is basically to give an effect to this particular widget, which is a normal widget, which can be an actual data, right? But a lot of people want to use some loading skeletons, which you can do with VelocityX using Vx0 card and list. So there is something called let's say Vx0 card. Okay, you can use something like that, and it shows you card. I don't know if you can see it properly, but let's see if we have is dark. So dark mode true, then you can see, right, this is predefined, you cannot customize it more. So now what you can do is basically you can have a skeleton as well. So let's say if I have a container over here, or you can use VxBox, and you can just say dot skeleton, okay, and you can give it a height. Let's say height can be 20, width can be 100, and that's it. That's all you have to do, and you can see this is skeleton. Let me change its color, then you can see it better. So I can just say color, and I can just say vx dot green 400, and you can see this skeleton, right? So this skeleton is nothing but like a placeholder which shows loading and all. So this is a new widget, this is a new animation which we have added. So pretty much excited that you would like to use it in your application. Now moving ahead, let's talk about the next one, which is VxMarquee. So if you have seen any news channel, okay, there is a widget which is running all the time in the bottom, and we can do that now in VelocityX. So this update is maximum covering animations and some other widgets. So let's see that. So let's say if I say breaking news coming from VelocityX, let's directly say to string Vx maybe marquee, yes. And now you can see I have to give it some actually height, or let's add some height over here, otherwise it won't work. So maybe 10% height is fine, yes. So let's increase it to 20, or 10 is fine. So you can see this is how you can use marquee widget. It works with the string, you don't even have to add a text. It's an extension method. You can use VxMarquee as well, and you can provide your text, and you can add a text style over here as well. So there is a property called ratio of blank to screen, scroll axis, text style. So pretty much everything you can do over here as well. So if it's a normal text style which you use. So let's increase the font size to 20, and you can see it, right? So this is how marquee effect works. So this is another new cool animation kind of widget which you can use. Coming again to VxBadge. So badge is something which, you know, I use a lot of times, a lot of places we require to use some kind of badge or something, right? So for that I have got you covered, and we have something called let's do one thing. We already have a widget over here, this orientation dot portrait, okay? So what we'll do, let's go here, this orientation dot portrait, where it is. So this is the context dot orientation, and let's add a badge over here. So you can just say dot badge, or you can use VxBadge. It's totally your choice. If you want to use extension methods, you can use it. If you want to use it as a widget, so you can use it. So if you are following this declarative UI pattern, then also it's fine. If you want to use this dot way of writing it, then also you can do it. So dot badge, and you can see we have a badge on the top over here, and by default it's a round, but you can change it. Let's say if you want to add a count, I can add a count, let's say 100, and I can change the color of the badge, let's say colors dot red, and you can see dot 100 over here. And if you limit it, so if limit is true, then it will just show 99 plus, something like that. And let's increase its size as well, because it's looking very smaller. So let's make it 20, and yes, this is looking better. So yeah, I mean, and let's make the count as 5. This is looking good as of now, I think. And yeah, you can do a lot of customization with this. Let's say if you want, so there is type, so you can use VxBadge type. So badge type can be let's say ellipse, so it will ellipsize it, and then you can just make it a point means that there will be just this dot, nothing else. Okay, so you can do that as well. So this is a badge which you can do pretty good. You can try it. VxBadge, you can use it. Now coming to toast, I'm really into toast and all. But before that, I'll also show you that some more extension in terms of, so we used to have dot click, dot md click, and that is useful when you have to do multiple click operations. Let's say you want to implement single click, double click, and long press all together, then you can use click dot or dot md click or something like that. But if you just want one single tap or just normal stuff, then now you can do that. So let's go to this circular image. So this is this image dot circular. Let's say we want to apply something on here. So we can now directly say on tap, on ink tap, which includes inkwell, on double tap, and on feedback tap as well, which also gives vibration. So that these are the new widgets which has been added. So let's say on tap. Okay, so on tap we can do something. So now we can use something called VxToast. Okay, so VxToast, and you can just use dot show. It takes a context and it takes a message. Let's say welcome to VxToast, and that's all you have to do. And now if I'll click on this image, you can see welcome to VxToast on the bottom. You can change the position as well. So there is a property called position as well. You can see show time, color, text color, PD horizontal, which means padding, background color, everything you can control. So let's say position, I can set Vx position, back position, I think toast position, and I can make it top. And now if I click on this image, you can see welcome to VxToast. If you change the background color, let's say colors.red, if you click here, then this is pretty much good, right? And another way of doing it can be, you can directly use your context. Okay, this is one way of doing it. You can directly use your context also, and you can just say context dot show toast. Okay, and you can pass the message over here, and that's it. Like this is the another way of doing it. So if I click over here, you can still see the toast. Similarly, you can say this is toast, but let's say if you want to have a loading kind of thing, so you can say VxToast dot show loading. Okay, or context dot show loading, something like that. So what it does is basically it says, let's say if I add a loading over here, what it will do, it will give me a callback as well, which I can use to, let's say if this is the callback, let's say close. Okay, so I can say future dot delayed, and I can pass the duration, let's say 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, I want to close this loading. So now let's click here. Let's see what happens. So you can see this loading symbol over here, and after 2 seconds it is closed. So something like that you can do. You can again customize it as well. You can give padding and all. So it's totally customizable, and loading can be done easily now using VelocityX. And yeah, toast, if you want to show a toast, then you can do it. And let me show you by context how you will use it. So you can say context dot show loading, and you can pass the message. So this is pretty much it. Like this is similar, but it's your preference how you want to use it. So yeah, basically with VelocityX you have always two ways of doing it most of the time. And now coming back to another thing, so there has been new extension added for scroll controller, by which you can go to top, bottom, and all those things. I'm not gonna cover that in this video. On tap, on ink tap, I have already told you. Now let's talk about VxTextField, and then we will talk about with animation and all. So this new VxTextField, I was not thinking about adding it, but then text field, sometimes I have been using similar text field a lot of times, and that is like, that takes a lot of thing to customize with the material text field which we get. So now what you can do, you can have, let's say if I give it some padding here, then we will get some space. Okay, so now after breaking news, I will add a text field over here. So you can use something called VxTextField. Okay, VxTextField does not have any extension method, so you have to use it this way only. And now you can see we have a text field. Okay, so this is normal. Text field also works like this, but now there are some things which you can do. So first of all, there is something called border type, okay, and you can use VxTextField border type, and there are basically one border type is underline, which you can see right now. Another border type can be round line, okay. So round line, if you see, then it becomes rounded with just one line of code. So if you want to use that, and even if you go to Vx border type, you can see none, round line and underline are three things. And if you say none, then there is none, like no border at all. So this is just a normal text, but that's not it. That's not just what it offers. It also have a property called is password, okay. If you say is password is true, so then you see this this eye icon on the right, which you can customize again. And if I write something like this, then you can see the cross button as well, right, which does not come directly with the normal text field. So you can click on this button, and now if I write it again, and if I click on this particular thing, then you can see this works, okay. So yeah, these are some more additions which has been done. So it makes your life a little bit easier. Then it has, you know, this clear button. If you don't want it, then you can hide it, icon, keyboard type, and everything which text field offers is also there. So I mean, yeah, it's your call if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, then you can ignore it. But I generally use it in my application, so that's why I thought about showing you. And yes, it's pretty damn good. And even if you go to dark mode, okay, this works in dark mode as well. Let me just show you quickly without wasting a lot of your time. So brightness dot dark, let's try that. And if I move to dark mode, you can see this is still works in dark mode and looks pretty good. I mean, I love the dark mode version more. So let's stick to the dark mode, and let's give some padding here as well. Looks good to me, right? So I hope you will love this text field as well. Next thing, let's talk about the animations, okay. So I already have so this demo app is already there in VelocityX documentation, so you can check it out. It has the animation. So let me show you that, in fact. And if I show you that, then you can see how animation works. But so basically you can use AnimatedBox with VelocityX, and you can perform some animations. For example, I'll show you one of the examples. So I have another window over here with VelocityX, and I'm gonna show this example running on the mobile app. So let's just give me a moment, and I should be able to run it. Okay, so I'll select the device here, Pixel 4a, and I'll run it, and let's see how that works. I know this font is not visible a lot, but let me zoom it a little bit. So yes, so here you can see AnimatedBox example. So what's happening in this example is nothing, but we are using normal random values for width, height, and color, and for border as well. And then we are using VxAnimatedBox, which is animated container, to be honest. And what it does is basically this, which I'm gonna just show you. So if you see this, you can see this container over here, which is changing its color, its position, its everything, and the code which we have written. So we have said VxAnimatedBox dot seconds, like the animation duration is seconds, which is 5. Fast out, slow in is the curve type which we are using, and we are setting width, height, and color, and rounded property. So this is like a easy way to do it. So this is the easiest thing to do. And then you can see this animated text, okay. So this is what I'm gonna just demo now, because this is something which you will find a lot more interesting. So I'm just moving this window somewhere else, and let's remove this as well, and let's see this how to work with that, with the animation, normal animation. And trust me, this will make your life easier. So let's say animation view, something like that, and let's create a widget over here. So I can just say a stateful widget this time, and I'll call it animation view, okay. So and we will have a text. So let's say we have something called an animated text, okay. So animated text, and we can just say text dot xl4 dot black dot white and dot make centered, So you can see we have an animated text over here. Now we want to have some animation. Okay, we want to add some animation. So what will be the steps? I have reduced the steps. The normal process, the way of doing it is typically a little bit difficult. So now you can do it easily. So what you have to do is, first of all, you have to add a mixin. So we can say with single ticket provider state mixin. That's one thing. And then let's override init state. And that's all you have to do. And it will not work directly. But what you can do, now you can use something called withAnimation. So there is something called withAnimation, or you can use with repeat animation. Okay, so for that I think repeat animation. So it's not giving us the shortcut directly, but if you use it once, then it should work. Yes. So with repeat animation is something which you can use, or you can use with animation. So both this method works. So repeat is basically it will repeat itself again and again, and with not animation just works once. Okay, so let's say with repeat animation, and it takes a vsync. So we can just say this. Okay, and then it takes a callback. So in the callback, it will basically give you the animated animation value and the controller value, which we will use for sure. What else it wants? It wants a tween as well. Okay, so for tween we can say, let's say if you want to give it a tween, you can just say tween begin with 0.0 and with maybe and with 1.0. We will change it and I'll show you how that works. And that's more or less you have to do with repeat animation. You don't have to do anything. And yeah, there is repeat period, upper bound, lower bound, which you can do, but that's not very necessary. So now how the animation will work, right? Let's close this. So how animation will work? Let's have a value called anim. Okay, so we can just say anim, final anim. Okay, and double, it should be double, not final, double anim. So double anim by default, let's make it 1.0. Okay, or let's make it 1.0 is the normal value. And now the begin value, let's start with 0.1 and end it with 2.0, because we want to scale this text. Okay, now what you can do, this is more or less you have to do, and in the callback you are getting this animation value. So you have to just say this animation, this anim value will be equal to this animation value. So basically what is happening, we added this single ticket provider mixin, we have added this double anim, which is 1.0, and then we have added repeat animation, which takes a vsync, gives you callback, and then it asks for a tween. There is a animation property as well, custom animation, if you want to provide it, and you can also provide the curve. So right now I haven't provided that, but it will take something in default. And once you set the anim is equal to animation value, then you have to call set state. So that's why we have made it a stateful widget. And now guys, what you have to do, you have to just say dot scale, and you can provide the scale value. So scale value, which can be let's say anim value, anim. And now if I'll do a hot restart once, because it's, so you can see, right? So this is the repeat animation, but this is going only in one direction, right? So you can also say something called is repeat reversed. Then if I make it true, then you will see if I do a hot restart, then it will go like this. And you can see this animation, how much lines of code, just 3 to 4 lines of code, and we are scaling it, right? So scale is nothing, it's another extension method which VelocityX offers, which in the background uses transform.scale, right? So this is one way of doing it. You can provide your custom animation, and let's change the curve. So you can just say, let's say curves dot fast out, slow in, then the animation will change. Let's do a hot restart, and then we will see the fast one and the slow, fast and slow, fast and slow. So a lot of things which we can do here. And I think this is the easiest way I can do it. You don't have to deal with any animation controller or as such, and this is done. Like now if I use with animation, then obviously there will be only once the animation will happen only in forward and nothing else will happen. So you can use with animation, you can use with repeat animation, and then you also get some more properties like duration, initial value with animation. With repeat animation you get more values, like if you want to set a lower bound, upper bound, or repeat period, that what should be the period of that repetition, right? So you can do that. I hope that you will enjoy this particular way of writing animations. And so as you can see, we can do a lot of different kind of animations, and there are different widgets as well, which is now available with VelocityX. There is a new animated height view pager, which you can see in the demo example, and it is really good. Like it animates with page view, and it also adjusts the height. So that is something which I'll show you. But I have two widgets which I definitely want to highlight. If you have used Stepper in Flutter, so usually because I have done Swift UI development as well, Xamarin as well, so there Stepper is something else, okay, and in Flutter Stepper is something different. So if you want to achieve that Stepper where we have plus minus button and we can step basically, so we can do with VelocityX now, and I really love this widget. I use it at a lot of places. So if I want to show you, then I can show you here. After the text field, what I'll show, I can have something called VxStepper. Again, this is another widget. You don't have a extension method for this. And let's add some padding as well. And you can see we have now minus and plus button over here, and minus is by default disabled. And if I press plus, and then you can see, and the good part here is that this is also an input text, so you can just say 100, okay, you can say 1000, but 1000 is not supported. I have disabled it. You can just add maximum 999. So so that's, yeah, and you can totally customize it. And if you don't want to have let's say this input field here, so you can just say disable input to true, and you can pretty much customize it as like this is another button, this is another button, so you can change their color. So, and you can also change the text color. You can set minimum, maximum. Let's say if you say step is 5, then if I'll click on plus, then 5, 10, 15, this is how it will work. So everything is kind of configurable. You can configure it. And the another thing which is missing from Flutter is basically the rating bar. So you can now use something called VxRating as well. So you can say max rating and on rating update, what will happen. Similarly, it also gives you a callback. This stepper also gives you a callback. So you have this on change, which basically you can use. And if we see this VxRating, we got this 5 ratings. I'll add some padding over here as well. And this you can change the size as well. You can change the image as well. So you can see normal and selected image. You can pick anything from asset and you can supply over here. Let's say max rating is 10, then you can say 10, and if I make it 20, then you will see that now it has been divided according to 20. Okay, so this is what you can do. Yeah, if you, let's say if you want to change the color, let's say if I say green over here, normal color, this is selected, but if you see the normal, so it should be selected rather, that will look much better. So selection color, you can see we can make it green, but yes, red was looking better. We can increase the size as well. Let's make it 40, and this is much better. And again, I use it a lot of places, but even if you want to use it, you can use it. So VelocityX does not try to build every widget again which is there in Flutter, but rather something which is not there in Flutter to make your life even easier. So that's VxRating is one of the examples of that. And similarly, now you can do navigations or routing using VelocityX as well. And for that, I'll show you the demo which we have already, like I have which you can find on the GitHub repo as well. So if you see this demo, let me just decrease the zoom of this a little bit, reset zoom, and let's make it a little smaller as well. Okay, now if you see this demo, okay, let me increase the demo size. I won't take much time over here. And so basically you have now using extension method, you can do something called, let's say if you see this tap me, okay, so this is the tap me widget. and this widget needs to be a separate widget. This is essential to make it work. So you can do context.navigator.push. You can use a page which is a widget, and then you can say .VxPreviewRoute. So VxPreviewRoute is nothing but similar to, let's say, you can also use here material page route, okay, which you might have used already. If I use that, let's say if I use material page route, then what will happen, if I click on tap me, it will move to another screen, but it has a different animation, okay. That's just focus on the animation. And if I use Cupertino route, so if you see, this is how Cupertino appears, okay, from the right to left, okay. And now we have something called VX preview route, which is good for using images and enlarging them. So you can use it for kind of if you want to kind of zoom, if you want to enlarge, then maybe this route can be useful because it performs some animation as well. So if I click over here, then you can see the animation, which looks much better, right? Oh, has been selected. So if you see again, this is the animation which you get, which is pretty good according to me. So yeah, this is also something which you can do. And also this is what I have covered here as well. And these are all the existing widget which used to come. I was talking about the VX animated page viewer, right? So if I show you again here, then here we go, where we have this VX animated page view. So you can check the link here, and it uses VxAnimatedHeightView, and it takes a page view builder. What it does is that if you see this image, okay, this looks fine, this is a page viewer, but if you scroll, then you can see height is changing, okay, and it is adjusting by itself, and it performs a cool animation as well. So this is what you can do with VxAnimatedHeightView. This is one more widget. And let's see what else is there. So we have material extension added, expand, background color, corner radius, on feedback tab, which I already told you, offset, preferred size, even sliver box adapter extension as well. One more thing, let's talk about mouse region, okay? So that's pretty cool, and I definitely want to show you that. So what I'll do, I'll go back to my demo, this demo, and let's set it to 100. Okay, this is fine. 121. Okay, so now this is what you can see, right? So now let's say we have this INR 13264, something like that. So what we can do after this, we can just add on hover, okay? So on hover, on mouse hover is there, on mouse enter is there. So let's try on hover, okay? So on mouse hover, and it gives you an event, okay? And this event gives you so much detail. So let's print some of the details. So let's try to print event dot maybe it's delta or distance, something. Let's try delta. So if I try to do that, let's open this debug console, let's clean it up, and now if I go to and hover on here, then you can see the position is coming. So this hover effect is there, as you can see. Similarly, I can perform something like on mouse enter, and similarly I'll get an event, and I can print, rather than event, let's print entered. Okay, this is really cool. And now you can see I have received entered. Okay, so you can see entered is here, and enter exit once only work once, on hover works many times, right? So that's what you can do. And to be honest, if you want to perform multiple things all together, then rather than doing it one by one, because it's not a good practice, you can just say on mouse region, okay? So on, not on mouse, but just you can say mouse region, and mouse region can give you mouse cursor, on enter, on exit, on hover, even opaque, and all those things. So yes, pretty much interesting thing which you should try, and it will make your life easier if you are targeting web anyhow. So that's also a nice update I just wanted to say. And few things are missing from here, but I think you can explore and you can see how many things are there. So I'll just show you one more thing maybe, which is like keep alive and all those things you might have used, material you must have used. So I think we have got the main things covered already. So yeah guys, this is pretty much the VelocityX 1.0 update, which comes with a lot of features, and obviously existing features are already there. Like if you go to the GitHub repo, or even the documentation is still not complete, guys. I am working hard on it. And if you see, the 1.00 is updated, and I'm bringing more people. If you are interested, you can also join for documentation, because it's all open source. And if you see here, then we have like something called timeline animation. Even swiper is kind of interesting if you see over here, right? So these are all the things which you can do. I will create separate videos for all of these, for VX responsive and all. For that, I need the thumbs up from your side. Let me know in the comments what you think about VelocityX, and will you use it in your project or not. And yes, let me share more things on my channel, so subscribe to the channel. And yes, again guys, lot of other updates would be coming soon with this. And trust me, this will definitely make your life easier. And also there are a lot of people who are now using it in production, so I'm pretty much sure that when you will use it, you will fall in love with this, and it will definitely make your Flutter development even faster. So it's always a long video, but I hope you enjoyed this video. You learned a lot of things, and it will definitely help you in achieving so many things. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye, take care, and I'll come with more VelocityX tutorials. Please let me know in the comments your thoughts.